Hey, you guys, today was Friday. Hopefully, you made it to class, and if you weren't here, please make sure you watch this whole video because this is going to be the last thing that I have to teach you before your test on Tuesday. So, again, make sure you watch all of it. I'm going to go ahead and jump straight into the lesson so we can finish quick. So, you know this graph, you learned it in elementary school. And so, we also had a problem this week on our warm up where y'all talked to me about it, where y'all told me the first number always tells you to go to the right, and then the second number tells you to go up. The first number is the X, the second number is the Y. And we knew it was always right and then up. And some ways that people made you all remember was either you crawl before you run, you walk before you jump. But I used the method in my class where I said elevator. You get into an elevator and then it goes up, but you have to get into the elevator first. Why did I use the elevator? Because this is what your graph looks like now. And so now it's not only you go to the right, you either go to the right or you go to the left. How do you think you know if you go to the left? What type of numbers are these right here? Exactly. These are all negative numbers. So now it's not just right, it's also right or left. And then you could go up or you could go down with the negative numbers. So that's the only change. Now it looks intimidating, but I promise you it's not hard. So we had this graph. This is actually on your notes, so please make sure you print out your notes. It's in the class document, so make sure you exit the video, go back to my website, and click on class document. Print this out and then take the notes with me. Please, please, please. All right, so first off, you know what this is right here. Y'all call it the what? It's 0, 0, but it's called the origin. It's called the origin, and you always start there at 0, 0. And then you go across which axis first, the right to left one. Which one is this? It is the x-axis. Very good. And then you go up and down, and this one is the y-axis. All right, so how do you remember the x and y-axis? Let me show you, because I know a lot of you guys forget. I do this in class, and this is what I tell you to do. I go, make your arms like this, an X, not Wakanda forever, an X, okay? And then you do this, horizontal, and you go out. I know it's kind of hard to see me, but hold on. If I do it like this, X is horizontal, X is horizontal, X is horizontal, all right? So you know it's this one. Now Y, if I do this with my arms, it's kind of like the letter Y, and Y to the sky. You go up and down or like this. All right, so that's a good way to get you to remember. All righty. Now, let's go back to the screen. So, taking your notes. Now, the next thing I wanted to teach you is called the quadrant. It's right here, quadrant, quadrant, quadrant. And there's 4 quadrants. Now, you need to know which quadrant these dots go in. And the way you remember is by drawing a big C. See, the C stands for quadrant plane because this is a quadrant plane. And if you draw the big letter C, it shows you where you started. You start here, and that's quadrant 1. Then you follow your C, and then you land in quadrant 2. Keep going. You're in quadrant 3. And the last one where you end on is on quadrant 4. So that's the way it gets you to remember, because I know sometimes it's hard to remember counterclockwise, but if you just draw a C on your graph, on your coordinate plane, then you can just go 1, 2, 3, 4. Very, very easy. So now we're on the right side of your piece of paper, and we're going to actually start practicing. So first thing says, it's number 1 says to plot these points on the graph below, and then label with the appropriate letters. So the first one is 3, 2. Now the first one is 3. If it's a positive 3, which direction are we going? To the right or to the left? Correct, to the right, because it is positive. And then with the 2, because it's positive, you go up. Now some people were struggling to remember the up and down. The way I try getting you to remember is think of water. When you're in water, if you're sinking and drowning, that's not good. That's a negative. You're going down, you're sinking. Now, if you're swimming, trying to get up, that's a positive thing. That's a good thing. You're trying to get up there. All right, so that's a good way to remember your up and down. So now let's go over here and let's start at our origin. and I want to go to the right 3. So I go 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to go up 2, 1, 2. And this is where I would draw my, plot my point and label it W. All right. Now, next one, this is a new one because this is only negatives. So remember, the first number tells you go to right or left. We have a -6, so which direction would you go? You would go to the left. Think of a number line. You have to go to the left for negative. So we're going to go to the left 6, and then we're going to go down 7 because it's a negative. So let's go back to our graph. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, and now let's go down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we're going to label it X. All right. Now, this is the one that gets people, and anytime you'll see 0, you get a little scared. So the first number tells you go right or left, but what number do they have here? It's a 0. So what do you think that 0 is telling you to do? Go right or left? You probably said nowhere. Just stay right there. Exactly. So I'm going to stay right here, but then that second number tells you to go down. So let's see, I'm going to change my color to blue so you can see. I'm going to start here at my origin. Now that 0 told me stay there. I don't go right or left, I just stay there. And now I'm going to go down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to label it Y. All right, and now I want you to pause the video and I want you to try to do the letter Z. I want you to try to do the letter Z. Okay, let's see if you got this right. So the 5 told you to go to the right because it's positive, and then the -5 told you to go down because it's negative. So I'm going to start here at my origin. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'm going to go down 5, and that is point Z. Hopefully you got it right. I bet you did. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna erase my stuff, but I don't want you to erase yours. I just don't want it to be a lot of writing on my screen for you. Don't erase your paper. Now what we're gonna do over here is we're gonna actually give the directions now of where these points are. So look at A. Point A is right here. How do we get there? We start at the origin, correct? And we can't just do that. I wish we could, but we can't. Remember, we have to give the instruction of going either right or left and then up and down. So if I'm starting at my origin, which direction would you go? Correct, you go to the left. And if I go all the way to the left until where the dot is, it's really on -6. Some people were saying -5 because the letter kind of lands on -5. But you want to make sure that you're looking at the actual point. And it's on -6. So I'm going to write the first direction, -6 for my X. And then did you go up or did you go down? Up. So that's going to be positive. And we go all the way up to +6. Awesome. Now, what quadrant is this in? Remember, if I were to draw my big C, where did I start? And I started in 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Which one is that one in? Correct. It is in number 2. So I'm going to go ahead and circle that. Is A on one of the axes? Is it on the X or Y axis? No. So we're going to go ahead and leave that right there. Now, let's take a look at B. Let's try to do B. B's down here. All right, I'm starting at my origin, and then I'm going to go to the right. And going to the right is positive. So I'm going to go to the right all the way to +7. And then I'm going to go down to -6. And because you went down, remember, think of like drowning. You're going down, so it'd be -6. What quadrant is this one in? Good, 4. Fantastic, you guys. All right, and now let's do the last one that I'm doing with you, which is C. Starting at the origin, do you go to the right or do you go to the left? You go to the left, so it's going to be -1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. Now, did you go up or did you go down? You went nowhere. So what number do you put? Very good. You put a 0. Now, what quadrant is C in? Some of y'all are probably saying 2 or 3. Now, when I say quadrant, I mean it's got to be inside of the box. Is it inside of the box? No, it's actually laying on one of the axes. Which axis is this? Let me give you a hint. It's right here. Think of Wakanda forever and then put your arms out. It is on the X. Very good. Okay, now I want you to pause the video and I want you to do D, E, and F, and then you can push play and see if you got these answers correct. Okay, here are the answers. See if you got these correct. D should have been -7, -3, and it is in quadrant 3. For E, it was +6 and then a +6, and it is in quadrant 1. F, you stayed at the origin, and then all you did was go up 1 jump, and he is on the y-axis. Well, I hope you did a great job on this. If you want some extra practice, I'd like you to do question 3, 4, and 5, and then you can show me on Monday. Y'all have a great weekend. Be safe, and I can't wait to see y'all on Monday.